Vaccine distribution should be equitable, Osibajo says. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, son, has advised that the deployment of COVID-19 vaccine should be done in an equitable and affordable manner in order to effectively contain the spread of the COVID-19 disease across the globe. The Vice President stated this on Friday at the virtual 2020 Euro-Africa Forum themed towards a realistic Euro-African partnership during and beyond the COVID-19 era. The summit featured presentations from notable global leaders, including the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, the Prime Minister of Cape Verde, Mr. Ulisses Correa Silva, among other speakers. The Euro-African Forum aims to foster stronger collaboration between Europe and Africa and better promote a shared green and inclusive growth, among other objectives. Speaking on the need for an equitable distribution of vaccine to contain the COVID-19 pandemic, Osibajo said the first thing that comes to mind is to ensure widespread and equitable access to a COVID-19 vaccine. According to a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laolu Akonde, Professor Osibajo said, Europe should work closely with Africa to ensure that when a vaccine is finally deployed, it should not be on the basis of the highest bidder, but rather be made available at an affordable and in an accessible manner. This is a matter that should not be taken for granted. We saw during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in richer parts of the world that orders for test kits and reagents by African countries were deemed too small and tended to be ignored, further stressing the points in support of Africa and developing countries in general. The Vice President called on the European Union to support the initiatives aimed at promoting vaccine access to poorer countries. He said, although Nigeria does not have the resources or means to prepare for a COVID-19 vaccine, we are fortunate to be a Gavi-supported country, and we urge the EU to lend support to Gavi efforts to ensure equitable global access to COVID-19 vaccine under the COVAX initiative. This way, poorer countries and their citizens will get the vaccines they need at the same time as the rest of the world. Thank you for listening to this news. Thank you so much, Professor Yemi Osibajo. Well, with the little I know him to be, he has been a very considerable leader and politician. He is very, very considerable. He is very, very sensitive and intelligent. You see, this is what is expected in a leader. This is what is expected in someone that is supposed to come into power. That is why in one of my videos I said it, that the seats of a president, that is political seats, supposed to be occupied by men of God. Because men of God are men with the love of men, with the love of God. And anyone that have love for God will definitely love his neighbor and won't want to hurt his neighbor. This is what we are seeing in the person of Professor Yemi Osibajo. You can see that his love for mankind has made him to be very, very considerable in terms of provision. You can see he made it clear that yes, COVID-19 vaccine should be made, but should be made at an affordable rate and should not be placed on the basics of who has the money mostly, or should not be placed on the basics of the highest bidder. He that has the money should be the one to be able to get it. It should be placed in a very affordable rate that will enable even the poorest common Nigerian to be able to access it. You understand? So that death rates will reduce. Because one thing I discovered about death rate in a country is when the poor people are not having enough money to give themselves proper treatment or checkup. So definitely you will see them dying gradually. You understand now? You see them dying gradually. Alright? So this is the reason why Professor Yemi Osibajo's opinion should be considered and made accessible. Do you understand? So, my viewers, with all that has just been said from by Professor Yemi Osibajo, what I got was that the professor is trying to make Nigerians to understand that in as much as we have plenty of rich people or influential people in the country, the issue of COVID-19 should not be an issue that can only be made accessible or that can only be cured by the influentials. Because you will see that as soon as the vaccine comes out, a lot of people will now take the vaccine as a business. They'll take it as a business. Because you will now see that they will now have a center where they make sales of these vaccines. So because of its expensiveness, it will now be accessible by only the rich people, and it's not good. It's not good. So that is what the professor is trying to drive at. You understand? So it is now left for Nigerians to take heed to his advice. You can say he did not only involve Nigeria, he went as far as making the United States to be aware as well of the importance of the availability of this vaccine and the affordability of it as well. You understand? So, my viewers, I don't know what your own opinion may be concerning all that Professor Yemi Osibajo may have said, but please don't hesitate to leave your comments below the comment box. Click on the subscription button as well as the bell button to get updated whenever we upload any new videos. Thank you.